Hey guys, it's Carly, Fairy Gutmother, and today we are making my very favorite meal prep essentials, oven roasted pork shoulder and my roasted smashed potatoes. These are awesome recipes to have on hand throughout the week that you can use in a variety of different recipes, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the video. So right here I have this pork shoulder from US Wellness Meats. It's no hormones or antibiotics, pasture raised, better quality meat, and better for you. And what I'm gonna do is just prepare a very basic seasoning blend for this. That way it's very general and it can go in a variety of different recipes throughout the week. So to get started, I'm going to cut this into smaller pieces. I found that it's a little bit easier to sear this way, and then it cooks a little bit faster as well. So we're just going to cut these into smaller pieces. Okay, now that this is cut into smaller pieces, I have a basic blend of tablespoon of an all-purpose seasoning. So it just has onion, paprika, garlic powder, very basic seasoning, and a teaspoon of sea salt and a half teaspoon of black pepper. So I'm just going to mix this together, and then I'm going to season the pork shoulder with the seasoning. Make sure you get it on all sides. You want everything covered. After the meat has been seasoned, we're going to place it in a Dutch oven. I have a little bit of ghee that's already melted in the bottom of the pan, and we're going to start searing the meat on each side. So just adding the pork to the pan here and searing on each side. I'm only adding a couple at a time, and that way they cook a little bit better. They don't crowd each other out in the pan. And just basically a couple minutes on each side. Once the meat starts to pull away from the bottom of the pan is when you generally want to start to flip. So you have a couple pieces already seared. I'm going to add the last two pieces of pork to the pan. And the searing just really helps to add a lot of flavor. So bringing the last bits of pork out of the Dutch oven here. I'm going to turn this down to low. I'm going to add about a couple cups of chicken bone broth to the pan. And then to this, I'm going to add just a few chopped veggies. So I have some celery here and some carrots. I'm just lining the bottom of the pan with your chopped veggies. Some onion. Break that apart. And then I have a chopped apple here as well. I think the apple adds a really nice flavor for the pork. And then once that is set on the bottom, we're going to add back in our pork. So just putting the pork on top of the veggies here. And then once that is all nice and snug, you go ahead and add the rest of your veggies and just put them in between the pieces of meat just to get everything nice and formed in here. Okay, adding a little bit more apple so everything's nice and snug. And then a few cloves of garlic. And then going to add just a little bit extra water here. You want the water, the liquid, to be just about halfway full, so coating just about half. So you can use a mixture of broth and water, but whatever you have on hand. And then I'm going to add just a few sprigs of thyme on top of the meat here. So we're just going to bring this to a boil. Okay, now that the pork is boiling, we're going to remove it from the stove, place it in the oven at about 325 for roughly 2 to 4 hours, depending on the size of the pork. So meanwhile, while we're waiting for our pork to cook, I'm going to go ahead and make my oven roasted smashed potatoes recipe. What I have here is about a couple handfuls of small baby red potatoes. I'm going to just add those to a pot of boiling water. And we're going to let these cook for about 15 to 20 minutes until they are soft. And then from there, we're going to immediately cool them, and that cooking and immediate cooling is what helps to preserve the resistant starches in the potatoes, which is great for gut health. Okay, so our potatoes have been boiling for about 20 minutes now, and they are nice and soft. I'm going to take these off the stove and strain everything, and then immediately cool them in this ice bath, just as long as you get them cooled immediately. This cooking and then immediate cooling is really what helps preserve the resistant starches in the potato. And this is what's really helpful for gut health. So this is your prebiotic fiber, what the beneficial bacteria need to eat to live on in the gut. So we want to get these nice and cooled and just let these sit here for about 10 minutes or so that they are nice and chilled. So the potatoes are nice and chilled. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of olive oil. I've got about a couple tablespoons of olive oil here. And then about a tablespoon of sea salt. And 1 to 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped rosemary. And then we're going to just mix this all up until all the potatoes are well combined with the mixture. You want all the potatoes to nicely have an even coating of sea salt and rosemary, and of course olive oil. So once they're all nice and mixed, we'll transfer them to a baking dish. And this is the fun part. So then you just smash each potato, just like that. Just make sure they're evenly spaced on your baking dish. And then I coat them just a little bit more with some extra olive oil, if you have some, any of your rosemary and sea salt, just before they go into the oven. You can even add in some Parmesan cheese, which is super delicious on these as well. Okay, great. These are headed to the oven at about 350 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. So I just took the pork shoulder out of the oven, and I cannot wait to see what this looks like. Wow, this is incredible, and it looks and smells delicious. It's this nice golden brown color. All of the veggies are caramelized, and it looks delicious. So let's go ahead and take these out. This is so awesome. The meat is literally just falling off the bone, which is exactly what we want. And so from here, now that you have the meat cooked, you can pull apart and begin to make your shredded pork. And this is awesome because you can use this in pork tacos. You can throw this in a soup, maybe with some of your veggies from the pot. So super versatile and so many different ways that you can make this. And I have to give it a taste just because. That is amazing. So incredible. So now that we have it all ready to go, I'm going to take some of the pieces of potato that we just took out of the oven. And these are awesome because they're nice and crispy and golden brown, exactly what we were looking for. And then throw on a little bit of our shredded pork shoulder. So it's like a version of a loaded baked potato. And then finally, drizzle it with a little bit of barbecue sauce. And there you have it. So we have our pulled pork with our oven roasted smashed potatoes. This is awesome to have throughout the week. You can also throw this in tacos and soups. Take these veggies out and throw them and serve those alongside. Maybe make some more oven roasted veggies. The possibilities are endless. Hopefully you guys enjoy this recipe. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more cooking videos coming soon. Thank you guys so much for watching.